Hello friends, and welcome to another edition of Transformational Astrology. I'm Henry Seltzer, and we want to take a look at this full moon on the 7th that's coming up here. It's pretty powerful, as are these times in general. So let's take a look at that chart, which I have prepared for you. And you should be able to see the chart here. Now, you know we're caught in the middle between two Virgo new moons. The Virgo new moon from the last week of August, the 25th, was actually at 0 degrees. And why that's so amazing is because these outer planets are lining up at 1 degree. As you can see, we have the Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini, and we have also trine to Pluto at 1 degree. Now it's moving backwards and gotten to 1 degree of Aquarius, so that's a trine in air signs. At the midpoint is Neptune at 1 degree of Aries. And here is this full moon chart. So when we were at the 0 degree mark here of Virgo, that was actually a double yod because of the inconjuncts that we had from both Pluto and from Neptune with Saturn nearby. At 0 it was. So that was very powerful. I mean, this has been really the strongest summer, and I think this Virgo new moon was the strongest one yet as far as the outer planets, because they were right at 1 degree. So all these trines, sextiles, and the yod to the new moon itself last time, which we're still in the middle of that lunation cycle for the next 15 days after this, of course. Just very powerful the way it brought in. You know, we have obviously the transformation implied by Pluto, the changes and novel ideas and new factors that we hadn't thought of, represented by Uranus. Trine Pluto, exactly trine Pluto, very close trine, partile trine. And, this does remind me of the 60s, when we don't have a square or an opposition like we had in the 60s. It was the conjunction between Uranus and Pluto. But now we have it as a trine, and we have Saturn involved, which was also true in the 60s. So, and we have Neptune, of course, too, in this time. So we have a combination of ingredients here that's quite volatile, and the fact that it also filled in on the lunation configuration. I'm talking about more the last one, the Virgo new moon at 0. And then coming up, we have another Virgo new moon that's going to be another at the end of Virgo, the 29th degree mark, which is almost 0 degrees, 1 degree away from having the Libra sign. And that, of course, again, it triggers all these outer planets. So it's quite amazing. Well, let's look at this configuration. So here's the full moon. It is an eclipse. It's a total lunar eclipse. It's very close to the nodes, only 3 degrees away, you see, from the nodal axis, making it an eclipse. That's where the eclipses come, because that means they're actually occluding each other. You do see the Earth in between, and the moon gets red, where the totality is visible. Well, in addition to having the 15 degree mark of Virgo and Pisces in this full moon, this extra special full moon, this eclipse season full moon, we also have at 15 degrees Venus. And that's quite interesting too, because that means that Venus is chiming in a semi-sextile and, of course, also an inconjunct or quincunx to the moon. And if you think about it, there's actually a yod in this configuration to the moon itself, because what we'd be looking for is a 15 degree mark of Libra, which would be a sextile and would also make an inconjunct here. And we do have this midpoint. Look, we have, this is Haumea, the new nature planet Haumea, which has to do with activism. With Mars, the fact that the midpoint is, you see the midpoint is 15 degrees. If you look at this 10 and 20, right, that's midpoint of 15. So this midpoint combines with Venus in another Yod formation to the moon. And basically, the bottom line here is that we have a very active time. We have a time, you can look also at this position of Jupiter, which is, of course, also at 19 degrees of Cancer, is square to Mars. So we have all this activity, all this Sturm und Drang, tremendous, it reminds me of the 60s, as I say, when there was the serious protest to what was happening at the government level that seemed not right, that seemed fishy. And, I was mentioning the double Yod in the previous new moon from August that was at 0 degrees of Virgo. And that was because, that's actually, that Yod is still present in this configuration because we have Haumea at 1 degree of Scorpio, and it was true then as well. And then we have, from the points that make the inconjunct, we have Neptune and Uranus. So basically we're looking at kind of a multidimensional transpersonal thought of these outer planets converging, you see, as they do upon Haumea, and Haumea is square Pluto, and Haumea with Pluto does have to do with the truth coming out, because Haumea and Makemake, I've found, I call them nature planets. Haumea was definitely a representation of pure nature to the Hawaiians, and the natural rituals of the Rapa Nui people, where Makemake was their creation god, their fertility god. So both of these have to do with indigenous peoples, with natural cycles, and that does bring in, all my research has shown this, brings in the idea of natural law, the idea of telling the truth, the idea of right action and right relationship. There's a right way to do things. You treat people how? You treat people the way you would like to be treated. You treat people with kindness. You treat people with compassion. And actually, it turns out Haumea was involved in the 60s configuration also when we had the Uranus-Pluto conjunction at that time in Virgo. Well, Haumea was also in Virgo, bringing in that idea of kindness, which was so much a part of the 60s. So now, with the square to Pluto, I'm finding when these are triggered, the square is triggered, as it is right now in this full moon eclipse, it has to do with seeking for the truth to come out, and in fact, the truth actually coming out and giving the truth as a response to these attempts at lying, which are so prevalent in today's society, especially in America, especially in this administration. So we have to remember also, with all these outer planets, we do have the idea of transformation. Wherever the a sign of Aquarius winds up in your chart, there is transformation going on, or any fixed sign, actually, that would be a square in opposition. And with Uranus, the idea of rebellion, the idea of let's take a new turn, let's turn the page. There's a way to do things that might be a breakthrough, that might be something we haven't tried. Nobody's tried this. It's a novel idea. And also the idea of intuition, which is very important, because it goes with the Pisces also moon in this case, because it does have to do with trusting what comes from deep inside you. It can be not logical. It can be a mystical orientation. And it tells you what's going on if you trust it. So this is a way to cut through to the chase, and try to really suss things out and take a stand. Eris is all about taking a stand, as you know. I haven't talked about Eris in this configuration. It's not as powerfully configured, but it's there, and it is about being, Eris is a feminine warrior for soul intention. So it's about taking a stand on what your deepest issue is and letting that be your truth, letting that be your soul truth, not being influenced so much by the consensus thoughts and the early conditioning you may be, trying to modulate and grow in your own way, find your own evolutionary path forward. So that's what's so important right now. And these configurations are just so wild, including the next new moon, which takes place on the 21st of September, the day before. It's at 29 degrees of Virgo. Then the next day, the sun goes into Libra, and that's when we have the equinox on the 22nd. So this is all such powerful timing, and just have faith. Have faith in your process, have faith in what you can completely stand for in your own truth, and have faith that the universe is at your, it has your back. The universe has your back. It is on your side, and things will go maybe better than you thought. In any case, they will keep going. There's no way around that. So that's the message about this full moon eclipse, bringing Pisces in, bringing the Neptune-ruled Pisces, the idea that we have more going on in the mystical side of things than the society is willing to admit. So let's transition back again, see what we can do there. And I just wanted to give you that message. It's so important right now not to lose faith. It's so easy to go feeling helpless, but we're not. We're actually not helpless. The power of public opinion is very strong. If everybody lines up in a certain direction, like a magnet, it will make a difference, and things will change. And, the quote from Margaret Mead is, "Never doubt for one moment that a small group of dedicated people cannot change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So that's the message, optimistic message. Good luck with all that, and see you next time.